After 20 years in a stagnant garage, the owner decided to get rid of it. And to avoid having it scrapped, I took it on. And I decided to repair it and restore it to its former glory. You think I did the right thing, or did I do wrong? Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today I bring you in this video a splendid Piaggio Ciao Pix with its original booklet from the year 1995. It's a very simple Piaggio Ciao with a pulley, so we also have the ignition with points and the classic spoke wheels of the time, so no alloy wheels. No electronic block or variator, making it one of the most widespread and reliable models available on the market, completely original. The first thing we are going to do to get it back on the road is to check that the engine is still good, because it was delivered to me like this and I haven't tested it. The engine turns without problems, so the piston is not stuck, and the elastic rings are still very free. And it also seems to have enough compression, so the engine is still perfect. The first thing to do is to immediately check the condition of the carburetor, since it is known that these carburetors get dirty very easily, especially in such a prolonged state of disuse. The first thing we are going to do is remove our side panels and check if there is indeed fuel inside the tank, which obviously goes into the carburetor. The Piaggio Ciao does not have a mixer, so consequently, there is a mixture of fuel and possibly bad gasoline with oil inside the tank. Often and frequently, this goes on to crust everything. So another aspect to check is the spark plug. Let's check that the spark is coming out well, because if the condenser at the points doesn't work, it will never start. Seeing that there is a spark, we will then immediately mount the carburetor to give it a good clean. I first removed the air filter, which is this black plastic box, and the filter itself is nothing more than a series of screens more or less thick, one behind the other, to create the filtering mass. The carburetor is held on with an 8mm screw, and that's it. I simply fit it in there to then remove it with the screwdriver, just moving it backward. And let's see how it's made. This is a carburetor from the Otto 1210. So, a really very small carburetor with a tiny airflow, which at the time was truly cutting edge for its reliability and simplicity. So, a very simple and indestructible carburetor, just a clean, and it always works. The thing to check is the manual area, because if the manual area does not stay attached, we have problems during starting. So it works well. The carburetor is perfect. The bowl has gasoline inside of a somewhat strange color, so clearly we are going to clean everything, as our carburetor probably has something inside, maybe in terms of dirt. We will remove the filter that is indeed at the entrance of the fuel tubing, and then once everything is cleaned, we will reassemble it. Underneath we have the wiggler, which in this case is really tiny at 45, but it is essential that it is perfectly clean. Otherwise, the gasoline will not flow. It still wouldn't start. So I put a bit of gasoline that was already inside the tank into the spark plug to at least verify that the engine is fine and that it works. Having verified this, I go to remove the old gasoline from the tank, because that must be the problem. And as you can see, it is practically Coca-Cola, so it is black and not good. It is too old and rotten. We are going to make some gasoline, putting in a liter of gasoline with 2%, so about 20 grams of two-stroke oil. We will mix it well and then immediately put it inside the tank once the old one is removed, obviously, to check the correct functioning. Once I put the new gasoline in and it entered the carburetor, it started immediately. Adapted and old gasoline has a very low detonating power. Consequently, once I had cleaned the carburetor, the gasoline reached the spark plug. In fact, it was always wet, but it flooded because it was gasoline that could not start. It would only start if I put it right at the tip of the spark plug, because obviously it was in a combustion condition, because it was a critical condition, but it just couldn't start. Now we see that it works perfectly. Maybe just a little tuning, a little needs to turn, but for the rest it is. We find the chrome details in terrible condition. Obviously they are a bit oxidized and need polishing. Let's see what can be done. In some places I have already tried, and indeed the chrome is in excellent condition, so this is a great sign. I also gave a polish test on the bodywork, and it seems to be in excellent condition. There are some scratches, but all in all, it turned out very well. As we can see, the wheels are very beautiful. They are still very shiny, and the paint, a metallic black color, is really nice and in excellent condition. Let's take care of the front light. Obviously, we need to change some burnt out bulbs. Then we will also check the rear part. Everything was perfect, except for a crack here that was broken. So I will fix it simply by putting a bit of glue. Since it is a type of plastic that is very rigid and very easy to glue, there is no need to replace it. I will put a bit of glue on it. It will bond in literally 2 minutes and will hold forever. This type of plastic with glue. Essentially, the glue holds really well, so I repair it and reuse it. Let's go repair the light, which is a bit more involved because the previous owner made some holes. I don't know why. Probably to put in some buttons for a green light. I don't know what it is. Probably a bit of a tuning style modification, which I don't like at all. So there are two options. Either I buy another light or I fix this one. Before buying another one, I want to try to fix it because buying another means we have new plastic compared to all the old plastics. So clearly, we would have to buy everything or repaint everything. Since I have this material here to make the test, I'll try to do the test, since in the end, it wouldn't make sense to buy a replacement when we can try to repair it. I am of this philosophy. I took this plastic here, which is made of the same component as the plastic that made our light, an ABS-type plastic, and we will use it to fill in the holes. First, I will build a structure in the back part to give it some substance to hold it in place, and then I will also apply it to the front part. Once the plastic is cold, because I heated it with the heat gun, it will become very hard and will have the same consistency as the plastic of the headlight. Then I can go on to fill, paint, and restore everything. I do the same thing on the right side panel, which you saw was damaged as well. And this is the finished result. So the operations carried out were essentially three. Restoring the missing plastic parts, obviously sanding. Therefore, I repeated this operation several times to achieve the best possible final result, trying to maintain originality and keep costs down in order to achieve this final outcome. Now, let's go do another very important thing. The Piaggio Ciao was missing some details like the front and back stickers. So the front Piaggio sticker, PX on the back, and the Ciao writings on the side panels. I bought from this site Seba Ricambi, an excellent site, very reliable, fast, with original spare parts or perfectly equivalent to the original, which allowed me to restore the Ciao to perfect condition at really advantageous prices. I also purchased a gas cap because the one that was mounted was unfortunately damaged and no longer closed. Here, I'm going to immediately glue the front Piaggio emblem. It's made of metal, should be aluminum anyway, not a metal alloy, which can bend, takes the shape of the front fork of the Piaggio Ciao, because it can also fit other models, of course, so it is interchangeable, and also the rear sticker that says PX. Obviously, this is a Ciao PX, so it fits with that sticker. The side panels had the writings, but they were all broken and damaged, so I bought two new ones. Let's fit them on both sides, right and left. They simply snap into place and it's done. Look how it's changing. It's really improving a lot in terms of aesthetics. Let's go mount our cap, which is different from the one that was there before, which had a key. But unfortunately, this one has neither the key and, above all, is damaged. It's broken, so it no longer seals and the gasoline literally evaporates. So it needs to be tactically changed, also for safety reasons. The original cap is this one, simply a cap with a level indicator made with a plastic stick, as was used in the past. And last but not least, the frame that goes on the tank, which indeed serves as a chrome finish for aesthetics. Having done all this, I cleaned it, polished it, washed it. Let's check the correct functioning, and I'll also show you how it turned out. In excellent general condition, the engine is perfectly functional, but it is still an indestructible engine, capable of covering 50 km with 1 liter of gasoline. The tank has about 2 liters, so it can easily go over 100 km with 2 liters of gasoline. Maximum speed is 45 km per hour, so it meets the speed limit for 50cc scooters. Left mirror is homologated, panel with position light, and high beam, of course. Here we only have halogen bulbs, no LEDs. Nothing to do with xenon, nonsense like that. Just bulbs that cost a few cents each. So what isn't there doesn't break and lasts practically forever. A bicycle-style luggage rack. In fact, the Ciao is a bicycle with a motor, rear light that can simply be seen at night. So it does what it needs to do. Double drum brake in the front and back. The rear part brakes much more than the front, but it was a characteristic of these scooters that made wheelies truly something fabulous. It was enough to simply touch the brake, you would come down, but it was very balanced, and even with little power, you could ride on one wheel, covering kilometers and kilometers without ever getting down. You can also see the front brake, which is a bit of an Achilles heel of these scooters. It brakes perfectly. The horn is perfectly functional. Clearly, the more you throttle, the louder it gets. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a battery, and this lever is used to turn it off because it releases compression.